All right. Good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Zach Batten for Ohio News and Weather. Wanted to hop on here and give you an update on what we're seeing this evening. Obviously, we've had a few tornado warnings. Nothing overly significant so far, it would seem. We did have a couple areas of stronger rotation, but it doesn't look like at this point that anything has touched down. There's been no reports of damage or anything like that. So right now, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is currently tagged tornado possible, and this is for Clinton and Greene counties in Ohio, of course. So right now, northwest of Wilmington, basically straddling kind of the Clinton-Greene County line, is our strongest storm. They do have it tagged tornado possible. Realistically, there's not a lot of rotation, but this area right near North Kingman looks like it is wrapped up just a little bit. It doesn't look overly concerning at the moment, but it is something that we do want to keep an eye on. As far as the rest of the area goes, for now, really, it's just a lot of heavy rain, lightning, thunder. We did have some hail and Xenia as this whole kind of line, essentially, the line has pushed through. You can almost make out some individual, oh God, cells in the line, but for the most part, it's kind of all congealed. It's become a mess. But this southern cell here does appear to be the strongest. It does kind of have uh, unimpeded access to clean air out ahead of it. Most of the rest of this is fighting kind of for its life at this point. So, looking here north of Jeffersonville, if we pop over back to velocity, there's a couple areas it looks like at least strong winds, if nothing else, but this is not severe. This just has a special weather statement for 50-mile-an-hour winds and hail up to 3/4 of an inch. So, right now, the only severe storm we have in our coverage area, again, is essentially straddling the Greene and Clinton County lines. So that's southeast of Xenia, north of Wilmington, moving east northeast at 36 mile an hour. So not moving overly fast. Nothing today has moved particularly quickly. So that is not overly surprising. If we zoom out a little bit and swap products here, we can see most of the rest of the state is just dealing with rain. There's a heavier cell about to move into Columbus, it looks like. So, heads up if you are in and north of Columbus, you'll be getting into some heavy rain and some decent sized hail. Not quite severe, but uh, almost an inch. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Would not be surprised if that ends up with a warning here soon. But for now, everybody else is dealing with just some light to moderate rain. Far northwest Ohio is just dealing with a mess of dense fog and some heavier rain. We did have some cells track across Indiana this evening that did produce at least one tornado near Bloomington, it looks like. But those, as they ran into a less favorable environment near the Ohio border, they just kind of fizzled out. And really, this line here has just been lifting north from the Cincinnati area up to the northeast. So we'll go ahead and take a look back at our lone thunderstorm warning. We do, for the record, have a flash flood warning also that is out here for Clark, Clinton, Greene, Madison, and Warren, um, where a good bit of rain has already fallen associated with this line. And then there's plenty more back to the west that is likely heading in the same general direction. So plenty of rain coming for areas that have already seen a lot. Zooming back into our warning here, popping back over to velocity. Right now, not seeing anything too impressive. There's still this area. Let me see if I can do. Really, there's an area about right here, but then more generally, this whole thing uh, spinning a little bit, but there's nothing overly tight at the moment. This you see with the latest scan, not even as tight as it was. So really, this whole area has a little bit of spin to it, but there's nothing overly concerning at the moment. So realistically, The hail that is probably within the storm is going to be the most concerning part at this point. It is a little bit close to the radar, so it's a little deceiving. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But at the moment, heavy rain, lots of lightning, likely some small hail. This is moving. It's north of Wilmington, moving towards Port William, Bowersville, Bloomington. That's Ohio. And eventually off to Luttrell and kind of off towards the Jeffersonville area. The heaviest part will likely stay south of Jeffersonville, maybe end up going more towards the Washington courthouse area. But basically, if you are realistically from about uh, Bowersville, Jeffersonville, Washington courthouse, this storm heading in your general direction over the next hour or so. At the moment, like I said, that's our only severe storm. Some heavier rain back Dayton westward, and then also across the border into Indiana, moving towards the Oxford area. So nothing severe at the moment, nothing crazy. We do have still our one storm here heading into Columbus with a decent bit of lightning. And let me see if I can go ahead and see if we can get a traffic camera up on the south side of Columbus. We can probably take a look and see what it looks like, which, if we're being honest, it's a little bit dark, so, you can't see a whole lot. Definitely raining. If you have to be out in the storm, visibility is probably going to drop pretty quick, so be sure to take it slow, leave plenty of distance with the car in front of you, all of that fun stuff. Let's see. So again, that camera is the south side of Columbus, State Route 104 at Lockbourne Road. Basically just rain. We don't have video feed from these cameras, which is unfortunate. So they update every, I believe it's 5 seconds or so. So you likely won't get the best idea, but good enough for what we're doing. Zooming back out to the regional look once again. Again, our one thunderstorm warning. Realistically, this leading edge here is probably the only part, severe wise that we're really going to have to worry about. The environment is not overly favorable and really hasn't been most of the day. We never really got the instability we needed. Moisture didn't really make it that far north today. So the environment here in Southwest Ohio wasn't overly favorable. Wind shear at this point is essentially carrying these storms along. There is no shortage of that. So that would be why we do at least have some severe weather, and why we thought realistically damaging winds would be the main threat here. But we did just get another flash flood warning, and I apologize for the message on your screen that says snow. It's not snow, it's rain, I promise. So I don't know what that is. But another flash flood warning for Fayette and Madison counties, which is more or less an extension of the flash flood warning that is already there. Again, storms dumping ridiculously heavy rain over the same areas, really just kind of training, and then with plenty more behind it, lots of rain falling over these same areas. And I believe we can take a look and see how much rain has fallen. Let's do, we'll do past 3 hours. We'll pop that off. So there you go. Almost 2 inches of rain in most of eastern Greene County, east of Xenia. So from New Jasper, Jamestown, almost up to South Solon. Almost 2 inches of rain fallen in the last 3 hours, with plenty more to come. So that explains your flash flood warning. Popping back to reflectivity, we're going to take a look at our lone thunderstorm warning again and see if we need to look for anything spinning. Doesn't look like it. It's a little close to the radar, but there doesn't look to be anything concerning from a tornado standpoint. So, again, 1 inch hail. Honestly, not even really strong winds with this one. It's basically a hail threat uh, that tried to spin there for a little bit. So, there is still our special weather statement for our storm heading into Columbus. No rotation with that either. Doesn't look like anything significant. Heavy rain, lightning, maybe some small hail. Now, at the moment, just wanted to give you an update. Uh, if we take a look at the SPC outlook, we'll pop that off, pop that on. Right now, these storms are right at the edge of where the Storm Prediction Center had their slight risk and moving into the marginal risk that covers most of the rest of the state. It was trimmed a little bit, especially on the northern end. Uh, Overnight, realistically, the best threat will be sporadic hail and damaging wind. The later we go, the less likely anything is to happen. There's really no more instability out there at this point. The storms are kind of outrunning the best wind shear. So, as these storms kind of continue to move off to the northeast, we'll put this into motion for you. They will continue to weaken as the evening goes on, and most everybody is really just going to end up with some rain. So you can see everything has a nice kind of northeast track to it. So places like Columbus over to Newark, eventually up to New Philadelphia, Canton, Akron, Medina, and even up to Marion, Findlay, Toledo, Norwalk. Uh, Everyone over there is essentially just going to see some rain. I don't really anticipate much in the way of severe weather, really, once you get north and east of Columbus. So, at this point, we'll take one last look at our severe thunderstorm warning, since it is still technically tagged tornado possible. We'll take one more look for anything mischievous. And really, we're still just too close to the radar. The radar's right here in Wilmington, so we're not shooting very far up to the north. And there's really just not much going on. Uh, it's hard to tell. I would not be surprised if this warning is either canceled or trimmed. It'll for sure be trimmed to the east, but the storm definitely does not look as healthy as it has previously. We do have these storms now near London, again coming into Columbus. Special weather statements for those: 40-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-inch hail, and 45-mile-an-hour winds, and slightly less than an inch on the hail for the storm coming into Columbus. So everything below severe limits. At this point, it looks generally like a heavy rain, thunder, lightning, sporadic small hail. So we'll keep an eye on things, but as the system continues to move to the northeast, we continue to get later into the evening, the severe weather threat will continue to dwindle. So at this point, with nothing impressive showing on velocities here, maybe a bit of a gusty spot near Port William there. But again, being so close to the radar, it's hard to tell. But I think we can take a look from the terminal radar in Dayton. And yeah, there's kind of right there near Port William a little bit. It looks like a little something, and you can almost see there's a little bit still of a curl to the storm, but nothing overly definitive, I would say. Nothing that screams that there's a tornado, that there's a tornado trying to develop. So we're going to keep an eye on it, check a couple things. Do-do-do-do-do-do. we're just gonna scroll through Ohio basically from west to east before we wrap this up and see what they're gonna end up doing with that warning. So right now, heaviest rain from Oxford, Middletown up to Dayton. Nothing severe, no signs of any mischief trying to happen, just heavy rain, lightning, thunder. Our severe storm north of Wilmington, near Port William, Bowersville, moving east. We'll take one more look at that before we leave, just in case. Heavy rain again up to London, over to Columbus. These storms are producing small hail and gusty winds, but they are below severe limits at this time. We expect, again, most storms to be below severe limits really most of the evening. So if we want to, we can pop over to this is the HRRR model, essentially giving you an idea of what the radar might look like the rest of the night. Uh, if I'm being honest, this is probably a little bit overdone, but realistically, as we go through the evening, heavy rain, lightning, thunder for most of us. Most of the severe weather probably doesn't make it past Columbus. So we're not really worried about much in that regard. Again, the farther northeast they go, there's even less instability. Parts of northern Ohio didn't get out of the 30s today, which is, if you happen to live up there, that's real depressing seeing everybody else hanging out, having fun in the 50s and 60s. And places like Toledo over to Sandusky were hanging out in the 30s. So, you know, if you were warm today, at least you had that. So, again, all of this continues to move off to the northeast. Norwalk, Lorain, Medina, Akron, Cleveland, up into Ashtabula County, over to Youngstown. Heavy rain, some lightning, some thunder on and off. Not expecting much in the way of severe weather. Yeah, like at one point, once everything dies down, you'll have, we'll lose our warnings, we'll lose the wind threat. The heavy rain trailing, you can see basically all the way back south of Indianapolis, all the way over to Columbus. This whole area is just going to get dumped on and dumped on and dumped on. So I would not be too shocked to see more flash flood warnings be issued. I wager at some point we probably end up with one for the Columbus Metro. And realistically, I wouldn't be surprised if it stretches from about the Ohio-Indiana border to the Columbus Metro as everything continues to swing through. But again, the overall severe threat continues to diminish. We're not seeing much to worry about at this point. We'll take one more look at our storm here just to see what's going on. It does look like it continues to weaken a little bit. We pop over to velocity, still not seeing much there on really any different product. So I don't I don't imagine they're going to continue that warning. It doesn't even look like there's probably much in the way of hail at this point. So realistically, if you let's see, are north of a north of Chillicothe, you're pretty well. Or sorry, if you're south of Chillicothe, you're pretty well in the clear. Uh, Honestly, Chillicothe, you're in the clear. There's some light to moderate rain showers to the southeast between Chillicothe and Athens, near Jackson, Wellston, MacArthur. Um, Nothing severe, not expecting those to do much. Again, the atmosphere is just not favorable uh, over really anywhere else. So, not expecting those to do much. But essentially, this rain right here, this is your corridor of heavy rain, lightning, thunder, and any potential severe weather. Again, atmosphere is not overly favorable, not concerned about a whole lot, not seeing anything overly crazy at the moment. Uh, Southeast of London and Madison County, between Newport and Chrisman, there's a little bit of, we'll call it enhanced wind there, but uh, nothing overly concerning, I would say. Check on a couple things here before we wrap up. And yeah, you see that thunderstorm warning down here dropped off. So no more severe warnings at this point. It is just flash flood warnings. So again, because it is dark, if you do have to be out in these areas where there are the flash flood warnings, turn around, don't drown. Uh, Make sure you take your time. It's hard to see ponding water on the roads in the dark. A lot of times it just kind of sneaks up on you. So take your time out on the roads. If you see standing water, don't try to guess how deep it is and just think you can drive through it. You're better off turning around, finding an alternate route. The rain is going to continue to fall. Again, heavy rain in Dayton, but nothing severe. Down to Middletown, nothing severe. Over to Oxford, nothing severe. So, more than likely, this is at this point more of a flash flooding threat instead of, a wind, hail, tornado threat. The tornado watch does go until 11 p.m. So another 30 minutes or so. But again, the threat at this point seems pretty low. Not overly concerned about it. This is more at this point a flash flood threat than anything. So I'm going to put the radar into motion here one more time, let you get a general idea of the direction these things are heading, generally to the northeast. Let's see. Taking a look at some comments as I can. Will storms move into the Akron Canton area? More than likely. You might get a rumble of thunder or two, but more than likely just some heavy rain. Kettering, you're already getting the heavy rain. Nothing severe though. Finley, yep, likely just some light to steady rain. Not much in the way of severe weather expected up there. Newark, likely some heavy rain. You might end up with some small hail at some point if this storm is able to kind of hang together that's going through Columbus. But uh, you see there's that development kind of right there on the east side swinging up towards Newark. But more than likely, just much like everybody else, some heavy rain, some lightning, some thunder. Worcester, same deal. No real threat of severe weather. You're a little bit a ways from some rain, uh, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but severe weather looks unlikely there as well. Nothing heading towards Mansfield that you need to worry about. Same deal for Springfield, really. Heavy rain, lightning, thunder, but nothing in the way of severe weather. Elyria, mostly the same deal. You're pretty far north. You extra really don't have much in the way of severe weather to worry about, so would not worry about it there. Fairborn, you're going to get into some more heavy rain here momentarily. Flash flooding is going to be your biggest concern. Lima, you're looking at just some steady rain. Knox County, realistically, not a whole lot for you. Some showers, more than likely, maybe some rumbles of thunder. South side of Columbus, you're getting smacked right now with a pretty good storm. Let's see. Yep, Akron should be good. Jamestown, same deal. Flash flooding's your biggest concern. Lots of heavy rain, lightning, thunder. Yep, Akron, just some good rain. Yeah, Belleville, not much that you're gonna have to worry about. We're getting reports of freezing drizzle in Findlay now at 42 degrees, which is interesting. I'm not sure how that works, but any fog for Lima? Probably, especially after the rain moves out. Wouldn't be surprised to see some fog. Athens County, Other than some rain, maybe a rumble of thunder here and there, likely no severe weather that you're going to have to worry about. Uh, Fayette County, heavy rain. Really, most of the county is okay. Northern half, heavy rain, it's lightning, thunder. But for the most part, our severe threat has pretty well ended. It's a flash flood threat now, lots of heavy rain, lightning. Uh, Outside chance of maybe some small hail or gusty winds, but realistically, as long as you have ways to get warnings, if you're worried about, not being able to go to sleep or something like that, you should be able uh, to rest easy, knowing that the severe weather threat is pretty well winding down for sure. Yeah, the storm's definitely dying down. It's transitioned essentially to a very heavy rainmaker, especially where the storms are training, basically from a line, um, Oxford over to Xenia, up through London and over to Columbus. Really, Columbus is getting some heavy rain right now, with more moving in from the west. So, yeah, Finley and Kenton, you're both in the clear, just some rain. Uh, Columbus, you've got a heavy storm moving in right now, below severe limits, so nothing to worry about. Greene County, flooding is your biggest concern at this point. There's another round of heavy rain moving in. There's flash flood warnings, so, and I believe what I can do is pop this one up. So there's your flash flood warning for Clark, Clinton, Greene, Madison, and Warren until 1:15 a.m. So, uh, again, that's where that rain is just kind of training, and there's more coming. So at this point, I think we're going to wrap it up. Again, general consensus for the rest of the night. This goes essentially for everybody at this point. Uh, Heavy rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder. The severe threat is winding down. We're not really anticipating anything else other than maybe some flash flooding at this point. So uh, go to bed, rest easy, don't worry about it. Have a way to get warnings if you're really worried about it. You can get our mobile app, the Ohio News and Weather app. It will send you warnings should they be issued. Weather radios are great for that as well. So at this point, heavy rain, lightning, thunder, nothing in the way of severe weather. Flash flooding, so if you have to drive, turn around, don't drown. At this point, without any other warnings, and the storms continuing to appear to be weakening, I do believe we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, for Ohio News and Weather, I'm meteorologist Zach Batten. If anything else does happen, we'll be back. But at this point, I think everyone can take it easy,